them actually have secret uses and crazy reasons for their designs that you'd never have guessed. From your phone to your bank card, get ready to uncover some of the best kept secrets in everyday things. Perplexing Percentage. Before going out, checking the weather app on your phone for those all too familiar rain cloud icons is always wise. But what do you think the percentage next to those clouds means? Most people assume that the number refers to the percentage chance that rain will fall in that area at the given time. If you live in the UK and some other parts of the world, you'd be right to assume that. However, in the US, this is not the case. Stateside, there's an equation behind the percentage. The forecaster's confidence of rain multiplied by the forecasted area. So if the forecaster is 100% certain that rain will cover 30% of Albuquerque, New Mexico, the percentage shown if you live in Albuquerque will be 30. Equally, if the forecaster is only 50% certain that it'll rain, but that if it does, it'll cover 80% of Albuquerque, the percentage on your weather app would read 40%. This is because 50% or half of 80% is 40%. But that percentage doesn't tell you how heavily it's going to rain, which is why even if you see a nice, small 10%, I wouldn't rush outside without packing a coat. Fry flyers. When you're hungry and need a quick bite to eat without going to the effort of making anything, good old Ronald McDonald is always there to help. But the next time you're tucking into your McDonald's fries, take note of the bendable flap near the top of the box. Some people bend it towards the fries to cover them up and keep them warm. I'm not so patient. But you can also flip that flap of card backwards and use it as a makeshift plate for your favorite condiment. Only make sure you bend it down firmly enough so that it doesn't spring back up and launch sauce all over the place. Silent service. If you're heading into the store to buy a few small items, the self-service checkout is a no-brainer. It's often faster than waiting for people to unload their shopping carts, with the added bonus of keeping awkward human interaction to a bare minimum. However, that loud, overly self-assured voice commanding you over and over again, "This can now be placed in your bag," really grinds my gears. I had no idea you could actually turn it off. Next time you're being verbally assaulted by the politest voice possible, take a closer look at the screen. There's often a volume button at the bottom, which, if you touch, should mute the insufferable speaking once and for all. Now, this button isn't on all machines, but with any luck, your local stores will have it. And as you check out your shopping in blissful silence, all the other shoppers are guaranteed to be checking you out in jealousy. Although that might undermine the whole avoiding attention thing. Super Sanitizer. Hand sanitizer has become commonplace in pretty much all our daily routines nowadays. But have you ever tried using it on anything other than your hands?
No.
This multi-purpose miracle gel can also be used as a highly effective screen cleaner for your devices, as well as a stain remover for your clothes. You might need several applications, but with enough dutiful dabbing, most stains should come right out. This is because the alcohol in sanitizer works as a degreaser, breaking up oily, greasy spillages. And next time you're caught out on a hot day without any deodorant, just wipe a bit of hand sanitizer on your pits. The alcohol content kills bacteria dead, stopping the wicked whiff right at its source.
I wouldn't do that.
You might get some funny looks, but that's better than smelling funny. While you're at it, you could even sort out your hair with a quick squeeze of the stuff. A little gel rubbed into lifeless locks acts similarly to a dry shampoo, cleaning it while also absorbing any greasiness. Again, all due to that alcohol. There's so many uses for this stuff. The only problem is trying to remember them all. Mysterious micro mesh. Microwave ovens are a staple of the modern kitchen. Capable of cooking food far faster than conventional ovens, they were a game changer when they first hit the scene back in the mid-20th century. But have you ever wondered why every microwave has that annoying black mesh over the door so you can't even really see the food you're cooking? Well, turns out that if it wasn't there, you'd be in a situation that's a whole lot worse. That's because the mesh actually blocks harmful microwave radiation from being blasted straight through the door and onto you. Microwaves emitted by the oven can pass through the glass door, but they can't pass through metal. Therefore, the mesh, which is usually made from steel, is stuck to the inside of the door, so that any microwaves trying to escape are reflected straight back onto the food. Now, considering the well-known dangers of putting metal stuff like aluminum foil in the microwave, you may be wondering how microwaves avoid catching fire if they already contain so much metal. The answer is they're designed in a way that avoids any sharp tips or thin internal edges, as these are the things that cause metal to emit electrical arcs and other electrical phenomena likely to cause a fire. The mesh in your oven is just the right shape and position that it doesn't arc at all. And the holes in the mesh are small enough that most of the microwaves can't get through, while still allowing you to impatiently peek at your food. Although the view's not great, it's still best not to push your face against the glass for a better look, because some radiation could still get past. And there's nothing that'll ruin your day quite like accidentally cooking your own eyeballs. Towel trickery. We've all been there. The hasty post-shower rush from the bathroom to the bedroom, haphazardly holding a towel around your nether regions that's barely keeping everything covered. The last thing you want is everything falling down and leaving you embarrassingly exposed. Well, with the help of a special folding technique, there'll be no risk of that ever happening again. Once you're out of the shower, simply wrap the towel around your waist like this, then grab hold of the top and fold it down all the way around. This will hold the towel in place around you and stop it immediately dropping down. Repeat this folding action one more time to secure it, and voila. You've got a tightly wrapped towel that's probably not going to betray you. Just don't go to work or anything with it on. Banana business. If you're anything like me, every time you buy bananas, at least one of them ends up getting overripe and going all brown and squidgy. And nobody likes a soggy banana. But it doesn't have to be this way. A simple solution to the problem is wrap the stems in cling film. You only need to wrap the stems up because ethylene gas is the main culprit that turns bananas brown, and it's released from the stems. When the gas from the decaying stems travels through the air down to the rest of the fruit, it causes it to ripen slightly faster. By blocking it off, this process is slowed. You'll need to separate the bananas from the bunch before wrapping them up, so it's a little bit of effort. But that's a small price to pay to enjoy your fruit fresher for longer. Pretty appealing, don't you think? The stitch sitch. You've probably noticed that strange V-shaped stitching pattern just below the neck of some of your sweaters, without ever wondering what it's for. It doesn't seem to do anything, but originally it served two very practical functions. The stitching is in the shape of a V because back in the 1930s and 40s, it used to hold a piece of triangular cotton behind the main material of the sweatshirt. This cotton was elasticized so that when the wearer pulled their head through the sweater, the elasticized patch absorbed some of the stretch, reinforcing and helping to maintain the shape of the neck. What's more, it also served as a sweat absorber, because for some insane reason, sweatshirts used to be worn while playing sports. So why don't modern sweatshirts have it anymore? Our heads are the same size, and our chests are just as sweaty as they always were, right? As well as cutting production costs, its removal is a result of sports sweaters being replaced with lighter clothing. Plus, companies started elasticizing the whole neck, so the need for a patch was made void. Today, the patch might be gone, but the V-stitch lives on. More of a vintage fashion statement than anything else. That's right, you're a hipster and you didn't even know it. Cool Pool Noodle. Driving long journeys on a hot summer's day can be a sticky, stuffy experience if you don't use the air conditioning. But even aircon has its drawbacks. Often whoever's in the front will get a brisk blast of cold air, but those in the back, barely a breeze. If you're always the person in the back, consider buying yourself a pool noodle. Yes, you heard that right. One of those foamy, floating tubes you used as a sword as a kid.
Why?
They're made from polyethylene foam, which is bendy, durable, and lightweight. And if you buy the right kind, they're also hollow. Therefore, by sticking one end to the vent inside a car, the air gets channeled through the hollow center of the tube. And due to the flexibility of the foam with the other end, you can direct all that remarkably refreshing air wherever you want. You could even tuck it in to shoot a stream of cool air beneath your clothes. Okay, so you'll look pretty weird if anyone happens to walk by, but you'll feel like the coolest kid on the block. Antenna, no dilemma. One item you probably use more than anything else in your day-to-day life is your smartphone. The average American loves their smartphone so much, they've been found to spend upwards of 5 hours a day looking at their portable pocket
It's
screen.
true.
Despite this, you might never have noticed one of the most important features on the whole device. These small lines can be found on any non-plastic smartphone and are called antenna lines. Radio waves that come from your phone's Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and 5G antennas can't travel through materials that conduct electricity. For this reason, a fully metal phone would be little more than a fancy calculator. But by fitting small plastic strips onto the side of the phone, the radio waves can be emitted and received through them. If you've ever suddenly lost signal and not known why, it could be because you accidentally covered the antenna lines with your fingers. This is because, as conductors of electricity, our bodies block radio waves too. Now, apologize for all the times you've cursed your service provider. Or not. They probably deserved it. Rat away. Whether you're a sailor or not, everybody can understand that rats are one of the last things you want on your boat. They nibble their way through food stocks, carry disease, and can even chew through electrical cables. The solution? These big, round discs. And no, they're not for throwing at rodents like deadly frisbees. You see, the main way rats get onto boats is by scurrying across the mooring lines while the boat is docked. Therefore, by sliding rat guards onto the lines, the potential pests are stopped dead in their tracks. Even if they try to clamber over the guards, their circular design causes them to spin wildly on the spot and throw the rats off. Time is of the essence, though, because if you don't install the guards straight after docking, those speedy scampers will be on your boat in no time. So next time you're thinking of boarding a boat, check the mooring lines for guards first. You don't want any pesky pie rats. Hidden hinge. What hot dog is complete without a generous squeeze of classic French's mustard? But have you ever noticed there's a secret function on every French's lid that's hidden in plain sight? Take a look at the back of the lid and you'll see there's actually a little knob attached to the hinge. If you pull the lid back far enough, it'll click into this knob, stopping it getting in the way and causing a mess when you're squeezing out your sauce. Finally, your life has meaning again.
I did not know that.
But mustard itself has more uses than just as a hot dog topping. Get yourself a bottle of English mustard and you've got a cheap muscle relaxant. Supposedly, by mixing a couple of tablespoons of English mustard into a hot Epsom salt bath, the relaxing effects of the Epsom salts are amplified. Salt and mustard. Just throw in some rye bread, pickles, and pastrami, and you've got a New Yorker sandwich going. Big back button. Apple's flagship phone is undoubtedly one of the most popular smartphones in the world. But with such a myriad of features, it's no surprise that some of the less advertised ones go unnoticed. If you own an iPhone 8 or later, there's actually a secret touch button hidden on the back of your device. It's located on the Apple logo, but to activate it, you need to head to the accessibility settings. Once there, navigate to the physical and motor section, tap touch, and then tap on back tap. You can assign the button two different functions based on whether you double or triple tap it. These functions can range from taking a super quick screenshot to opening an app of your choice. And if you have smart lights in your home, you can even turn them on and off with the feature. Not only does this save a bit of time, but it has the added benefit of making you feel like some kind of all-powerful god of technology.
Didn't know that.
Extraordinary erasers. The humble eraser is a timeless school essential. You might have only used erasers after being told by the teacher to get rid of all those rude drawings in your textbooks, but there are far better ways to utilize erasers than for merely rubbing out pencil. Suede, for example, can be a notoriously tough material to clean. But those dirty dress shoes of yours are no problem for a basic household eraser. As long as you're gentle, by rubbing the eraser against the soiled patch, the friction generated will lift off the muck. What's more, it'll even fluff up the suede a little and make it look better than it did before. And you know those annoying gluey marks left by price tags and stickers? Rubbing an eraser over them should have them gone in no time. The rubber grips and pulls the adhesive away from the surface. I just wish I could erase your poor teacher's memory so easily after what they saw in those textbooks of yours. Key coin. If you live somewhere like the UK, you'll probably know that at most grocery stores you have to insert a coin into a parked shopping cart to pull it out and use it.
They have that store
down here. But what if you haven't got any change on you to unlock one? Obviously, the crippling social anxiety caused by our modern, mostly online existences means there's no way you're going to ask some stranger for a coin. But wait, you might be in luck, provided you remember this tidbit of key information. Some house keys actually fit perfectly into the coin slot on shopping carts, releasing the lock and saving you a discontented trip back home. Although this doesn't work for every type of key, it's worth knowing in case you're one of the lucky lock openers. If it's round and roughly the same size as a 1 pound piece, there's a chance it'll work. Just whatever you do, don't leave it in the cart when you're done shopping. Beer bulge.
Who's gonna actually do that?
The traditional pub glass, or no-neck pint glass, is a sight many of us are familiar with. But chances are you've probably been too busy drinking to ever think too hard about its shape. Well, turns out that bulbous bulge at the top of the glass is there for a couple of excellent reasons. It was first developed as an improvement to the original bulgeless conical glass. When that old style of glass became wet with condensation, it often slipped out of people's hands, crashing dangerously to the floor. Adding a bump to the design reduced the chance of this happening due to the drinker's hand catching on it. Plus, if someone accidentally knocks their drink over on the table, there's less chance of damage to the actual rim of the glass, because it'll land on the bulge first. Hence the name no-nick. There's literally no nicks, meaning no cracks or scratches. It's not just the drinker that benefits from the no-nick pint glass, though. Before the addition of the bump, bartenders had to deal with conical glasses, which form a seal and stick together when stacked behind the bar. Trying to take an individual glass off was tricky, and you'd be prone to knocking the whole teetering tower over. When no-nicks were introduced, though, that bump meant that no such seal could form, and glasses became much easier to remove from a stack. No nick, no problem. No chafe chapstick. Everybody loves a brand new pair of shoes, but everybody hates getting blisters while breaking them in. But with the help of a little bit of lip balm, your sore, hurt heels will be a thing of the past. Due to the waxy, oily nature of many lip balms, they make great lubricants. So if you rub some of the slippery stuff on the inside of the heel before you put your shoe on, There'll be less friction to irritate your skin. Useful for sneakers, and even more useful for formal shoes like high heels. And the lubricative uses for lip balm don't stop there. The next time your zipper gets stuck, instead of stressing out, reach for the lip balm. Rubbing it across the teeth of the zip, above and below the slider, should do the trick and loosen the zipper right up.
Didn't
Although
know that.
lubrication isn't the only alternative use for this adaptable ointment. Particularly in the summer months, bug bites can be the bane of any relaxing day out. For a quick solution, look for a balm that contains menthol and camphor. When rubbed on a bite, these ingredients will soothe the irritating itch considerably. Yep, this stuff is really da balm. Greater expectations. Picture the scene. You're hosting a fancy dinner party, hoping to impress your guests with your culinary genius. But oh no, the next dish to serve is chicken parmesan, and your grater's gone missing. Stop panicking. All you need is your bank card. Believe it or not, the embossed numerals and lettering on a debit or credit card actually work as a makeshift cheese grater.
Oh my
If
god.
you need one in a pinch. Sure, it's going to take you a little while longer than using an actual grater, but it's a lot better than using your nails or something. Just make sure to clean the card really well beforehand. And afterwards, too. Unless you enjoy the smell of Italian cheese in your wallet, of course.
Now
If you
the
somehow
stinky
manage to
smell.
simultaneously lose all the knives in your house, too, you may as well use your bank card to slice the cake up. Now that's how you make your money work for you. Bottom of the bottle. You know those firm plastic water bottles that are a mainstay of every school changing room? Well, they usually have a small, oddly shaped notch in the bottom that you might recognize if you ever owned one. Bet you don't know what that notch is for, though. It's called a deco lug. And without it, your bottle would be a lot less pretty to look at. That's because these bottles are mass-produced in factories using machinery, and each one has to look exactly the same. Because many plastic bottles needed artwork printed on them, manufacturers needed a way to ensure that the artwork is always printed in the same position for every bottle. So the deco lug was born. It's short for decorating lug and works by holding every bottle at the same orientation in the machine while the artwork is applied. Without this small, unimportant-looking indent, some poor factory workers would have to stand and watch the whole process, adjusting the bottle by hand if necessary. A whole working week of boredom staring and fiddling with plastic bottles. Sounds like my school days. Cryptic command. Whether you own a Windows PC or a Macintosh, you probably at least recognize the command key on Mac keyboards.
Yep.
Why, though, does it have that strange pretzel-like symbol on it? Well, back in the 1980s, the key was originally called the Apple key, and that symbol was nowhere to be seen. Instead, it had the Apple logo on it. The key was implemented so it could be pressed in combination with other keys to allow full control of the computer, even without a mouse. Believe it or not, the mouse was a relatively new concept back then, and many people didn't own one. So the Apple key was very important. In 1984, though, Apple's owner, Steve Jobs, suddenly became disillusioned with the design of the key. He believed the Apple logo was being overused. It was all over the keyboard, on every menu on the computer screen, and on the Apple key itself. It was diluting the brand. So he assigned Apple's bitmap artist at the time, Susan Kerr, the daunting duty of coming up with a new symbol. The only instruction he gave her was that it should represent the pretty abstract notion of command. Kerr searched high and low for inspiration relating to the concept of command, looking at everything from the 10 Commandments to commanding figures such as police. Then one day, she opened up a symbol dictionary and boom, found exactly what she was looking for. The symbol she settled on is actually a Nordic one, used in signs to denote campgrounds, and is based on the outline of a castle's roof, though Care picked it because she thought it looked like a four-leaf clover. Steve Jobs liked her idea, and now, almost 30 years later, the iconic symbol still features on every Mac keyboard's command key. It's
true.
A good job Susan cared so much about finding the right design that simply commanded respect. Okay, that's just about all the crazy secrets I've got to share with you today. Do you know something nobody else knows about an item we use every day? Let me know down in the comments below. And thanks for watching.
Alright, KL Squad, like, comment, share, and subscribe to join the KL family. And I definitely learned something new. I didn't know that at first the iMac computer wasn't a command pretzel symbol. It was an apple symbol. I definitely learned something new on that. And the mustard, when you open the mustard top and you pull it all the way down and it holds the lid of the mustard so you don't make a mess. Those two things I learned. That was pretty cool. And comment down below what's something you learned from this video, or if you already know all the facts from this video. And if you are new, like, comment, share, and subscribe to join the KL family. We are on the road to 150 subscribers. And bye.